Welcome back to the Get Off the Treadmill podcast for small business owners and entrepreneurs, where we show you how to build a successful business and to have a life too. We're going to dive into another topic that helps us make more money in less time and to get off the treadmill so we can experience a life of significance. And now, your host and the author of the #1 best-selling business book, Making Money is Killing Your Business, Chuck Blakeman.
Today, my guest is Liz Daeninck. We've had her on before. She's the founder of Valentis Wellness. Their approach is finding a suitable and custom nutrition plan that works for you, giving your life circumstances and health challenges. Liz's background is in the study of how the body responds to our movement or the lack of movement and what we put in our mouth, nutrition. And that helps us to identify how to reduce and even eliminate health complications like obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol, irritable bowel syndrome, and other chronic issues. She specializes in working with individuals who are planning to or have had weight loss surgery. And her goal is to assist you in making changes to better support and ultimately improve your health. Welcome back, Liz. Great to have you.
Great to be here.
All right, let's jump right in. This could be a short, and I think, we talk about this BFO thing, blinding flash of the obvious. This is one of those powerful does, because the topic here is really a marketing topic today. We're going to talk about how to get new clients coming to you, how to get them to want to come find you. And the topic is really about getting referrals. But the real topic here today is the magic of having a consistent product, a consistent delivery. We say what we're going to do, and then we said we do what we're going to what we said. And that consistency brings us new clients. So give me an idea what you mean by consistency. We'll just start there.
So I think the initial part that comes to mind is having consistent intervals of meeting with people.
Okay.
So ideally, every other week is when I meet with people. In some cases, I meet with them every week. So it's an opportunity to check in with them on how things are going, those tiny little steps that we work on.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if some of my clients are on a monthly cadence, then I'll check in with them every other week to see how they're doing.
Okay. And what does that consistency do for them inside, emotionally, mentally? What does that do for them to say, here, we're going to do this, we're going to do it this often, and then it actually happens?
So that is critical to behavior change. So we all know that having some accountability really helps with moving the needle and making some changes in our lives. So having somebody check in, see how you're doing, and then, potentially a lot of times it's about restructuring or redirecting or, writing the sails, if you will, to make some modifications that are going to be a little bit better for the person in their particular circumstances at that time in their life.
Okay, so you have different people on different kinds of plans, once a month, twice a week, or twice a month, different things. But you lay that out for them and say, here's how this is going to work.
Right.
And then you do that. Mm-hmm. And we talk a lot about fundamentals and big does, because there are no new fundamentals. And the big does, we call them big does because we forget them, unfortunately. And this is kind of both of those. Say what you're going to do and do what you said.
Right.
And when you do that, you create happy customers and they are going to refer you. Duh. But I want to back up a second on why this consistency is so good as a marketing thing. We all are out there beating social media or doing whatever we can to market ourselves to get people to buy our chairs. And what if the chairs aren't good chairs? The only possibility for us now is to go find strangers all the time because the people who know us don't like us.
Right.
And they're not going to refer us. So people ask me, what's your #1 advice for marketing? And it's what you're talking about right here today, that you wanted to talk about this topic. And it is the #1 marketing topic, consistency. Say what you're going to do and do what you said. If you're making chairs, if you're helping people with weight loss, am I actually delivering what I said I would deliver? Nothing is going to make people refer more or less than if you hit or miss that mark.
Agreed. And I think it's easier to maintain clients than to find new ones.
Well, that's brilliant. And there's so much research because I geek out on this stuff. But even 20 years ago, they were saying we think it's at least 5 times cheaper to keep a client than it is to go get a new one. And I would say it's at least 5 times emotionally cheaper as well.
Right.
Because I've got this client, I'm already their friend. Let me just continue to be consistent with them and build that relationship. And if I do that, I'm going to keep this client. So yeah, you want to have to do less sales, be consistent. That's a marketing ploy, is be consistent. I also want to back up one more step before we kind of wrap this one up, because this is simple but powerful. Why do we want to be consistent? I say this all the time, and it came to me just for myself a few years ago. What's the most important asset I have in my business? And too often we hear things like, well, people or proprietary knowledge or our market or our customers. Those are all really valuable. But it came to me, no, the number one asset I have, and any owner of a business has, the number one asset in our business is trust. And we've talked about this before. I don't know if you can answer this off cuff, but what's the number one way to create trust? What do you think?
Listen.
Yeah, listen, and then do what you're going to say. And so it becomes a consistency thing. That's part of listening, is you listen really well. How do I build trust? Well, say what you're going to do and do what you said. And if you lay out this program for me, or you tell me the chair is going to look like this and do this for me, and it actually does, that's the best marketing I can have, because that's consistency, and consistency is how we build trust. If we tell our kids we're going to take them to the park, or if I tell my dog I'm going to take her to the park and then I don't, the lack of trust is immediate. She's staring at me like, when are we going? Why aren't we doing what you said you were going to do? So you want trust? Do things that are consistent in your business. And the number one way to build consistency is in your main operations, whatever it is. Say what you're going to do and do what you said. So do you have any strings of advice to leave us with on that idea of consistency that, again, might just apply to your business, but we'll find they apply everywhere?
If I can provide any advice, I think it's just organizing yourself up front with some kind of structured plan or execution plan with that, in my case, touching base with people.
That's a brilliant blinding flash of the obvious. You can't be consistent if you don't know what your plan is. So devise a plan, lay it out, put it on paper, and then you can share it with people. So get organized, and that'll create your consistency. I love it. Liz, how can people get a hold of you?
My website is valentiswellness.com. That's Valentine without the N-E, change it to an S, valentiswellness.com.
So VALENTIS, valentiswellness.com.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for being on our show, and with another great blinding flash of the obvious. Let's be consistent and watch people get referred to us left and right. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That wraps up another episode of the Get Off the Treadmill podcast. If you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe and hit the like button to ensure you are receiving the latest tools you need to grow your business and to get off the treadmill. If you want more information on the 3 to 5 Club, the Crankset Group, or to book Chuck as a business advisor, speaker, or workshop leader, you can contact us at grow@cranksetgroup.com. Until next time, have a great week.